This is example 1 from lesson R.4. Example 1, we're supposed to determine the restrictions on the variable. Well, the only restrictions that are going to come is from anything that causes the denominator to equal to 0. So in example A, the denominator being x minus 3, we'll come off to the side over here, we'll take the denominator, we're going to set it equal to 0, and we're going to see what causes the denominator to be equal to 0. Right? We solve this problem by adding 3 to both sides. So we find out that x would be equal to 3. So that means the restrictions for A would be the variable x cannot be equal to 3. In part B, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take c squared minus 16 and we're going to set it equal to 0. And there's a couple ways that you can solve this. But I'm going to add 16 to both sides. And what we have now is that c squared is equal to 16. So the way to solve this, how do you unsquare something, is you're supposed to square root both sides. Now, don't forget, when you square root, you do want to have the positive square root and also the negative square root. There are two actual answers there. Over here on the left, the square root sign and the square sign will cancel. We're left with just the variable c, and 16 has a nice square root. It's 4. It's positive and negative 4. So for part B, the restrictions on our variable would be c cannot be equal to negative 4 or to positive 4. And then for part C, you notice we have two variables. That means we're going to have two restrictions, one for each variable. So we'll take our denominator, and we will set it equal to 0, and we're going to solve for a. So that means we're going to divide both sides by 7b to the third, and that means that a is going to be equal to 0. So one of my restrictions is that the variable a cannot be equal to 0, all right? And now I'm going to take the denominator once again. I'm going to set it equal to 0. And I'm going to solve this one for b. So we're going to divide by 7a. We have b to the third equal to 0. Now, how you uncube something is similar to the way that you unsquare something. We're just going to cube root both sides, like so. All right, on the left, the radical and the cube will cancel. They'll just leave me with the variable b. On the right, the cube root of 0 is actually 0. So that means that the restriction for variable b is that b cannot be equal to 0 either.